guys, I am Dimsies from the Omnic Post. So the second Overwatch 2 beta has been out for a few days, and slowly more and more people get to join in on the fun. Everybody's getting their first look at the Junker Queen, and in case you're lucky, you might even end up on the long-lost map of Paraíso, aka Rio. But just like in the previous beta, there are also some changes to old maps. And I'm not only talking about Busan being a nighttime map now. Most of those changes are strategical, like new obstacles being added. I'm working on a different video to list all of those. But then there are the bigger changes. The changes that hint towards PvE content. Hidden zones that we can't access right now, but that might not be coming available during the PvE story and hero missions. The map that has had the biggest changes, and it actually has a zone that you can force yourself into, is King's Row. I made a video on that during the first beta. I'll leave a link up there and in the description below. There is a second map that has had some substantial changes and that clearly point towards a new section for this map being in the works, and it is Eichenwalde. Now before we dive in, let me add that this is not completely new. We found parts of this during the first beta, and other content creators have made videos about that. But recently I noticed there's more going on here, and that a lot more change than we had figured. Well, maybe than I had figured. But this is more of a deep dive. Anyways, let's have a look. So, on Eichenwalde, if you go past the first objective, there's an incredible vista. Back in the day that Symmetra's portal still started from spawn, this was a place where many people fell to their death, because some little bugger set up their portal right at the edge. Now that the time is behind us, this is a bit of a lost and underused corner in Overwatch 1. But in Overwatch 2, this is the entryway to the new zone. Where there used to be nothing but air, there's now a whole new structure, and it includes a big gate. Even the environment outside of the actual play zone changed a little due to this new expansion to the castle. The houses were removed, and in the back there seems to be a tunnel leading under the castle. And this little road that used to lead to a door now just leads into a rock. Yeah, they still have some cleaning up to do. Some people managed to get past the gate, but currently nothing is there, which makes sense. You don't want to be loading in a section of the map for PvP that is not going to be used. It's bad resource management. I'm sort of surprised that they did so on King's Row, to be honest. But that just might have been an early test or because of the immersion for our flying heroes. Anyways, when I noticed the size of this expansion, I started wondering how deep it goes and how it impacts other parts of the map. So I started doing a little research. Once you go beyond the first gate, you start seeing some evidence of the hidden zone. First off, this medieval walkway up there might not look very different on the first glance, but when you put the two next to each other, the new Overwatch 2 version is way higher. And behind it, you can see a castle tower sticking out. The little gatehouse in between the two walkways, and it also exits on the passover, is smaller. A lot smaller. In Overwatch 1, you can look over that gatehouse and see a walkway to a single castle tower. The rest of it is just an empty void. In Overwatch 2, there's a lot more to see, besides the huge castle tower I already mentioned. There are some traces of a structure laid out that don't seem to be fully rendering. Again, most likely for performance reasons. If you look further to the right, there are two things that stand out. One is a huge part of the castle that is big spooning the tower at the end of the higher walkway. And a new part of the castle is currently floating in midair. And two is a new gate for the attacker final spawn. But my thinking is, if they change the gate and the wall, what does the spawn look like? Because it basically is either going into the new zone or it should connect to it in some way. So let's have a look. When you enter the spawn, you immediately notice the new gate. It looks identical to the first gate at the first objective and the gate behind us. Now these gates are not included in the mesh of the wall like most decorative gates are. See, if you have a door in a room that will never open, it will often be part of the wall as one big object, again for performance reasons. These gates though are separate objects. You can tell by this weird mesh clipping that is going on. I have no idea what is clipping to it though. It's like there's a backside of another gate that is connecting to this. It's kind of weird. But I think it's safe to state that this door might open at some point. When you move further into the actual spawn room, aka the wine cellar, you can tell that the room has a slightly different shape and that the doorway we came through connects in a different way. The doorway to the second exit is still identical, and so is that decorative gate to the right. The fact that this wasn't replaced by the new style of gate confirms that the first gates are most likely going to open up. Now behind me, in Overwatch 1, there is nothing but a blank wall. Someone needs to put up a Reinhardt poster up there or something. In Overwatch 2, however, there is another of these gates. On top of that, they lowered the floor towards the gate. Now that might sound like a weird thing to focus on, but why would you do that if you didn't have a functional reason? Is it because the zone it connects to is on a slightly lower level? What I'm thinking is that this spawn room might have a double role. In PvP, the main doors are open. In PvE, the main doors might be closed. The whole rest of the map will most likely not be loaded in. And these two new doors will open up, leading into a new section that will be used in a story or a hero mission. Maybe even both. And that's about everything I could find. The rest of the map still looks identical to the one in Overwatch 1. I find all of this stuff extremely exciting. As a Reinhardt player, I love Eichenwalde. And the idea that we'll be discovering a whole new part to this map, it just makes me happy. I'm extremely curious to learn what they have planned for us, and what it will look like, what the story will be, and what other maps will get a new zone attached to them like this in the future. Because right now, Kings Row and Eichenwalde are the only ones, but more of them might be coming in the next beta and even after release. But I'll keep an eye out. Now, what do you think might happen here? Who might be involved apart from Reinhardt and maybe Brigitte? Let me know in the comments. Join me during my streams on twitch.tv/DamesTV and make sure to subscribe for more videos on Overwatch.